Hello everybody and welcome to episode 9 of Around the Sound Sports. My name is Ben Ray, your local sports reporter here in Federal Way, Kent, Auburn and Renton. An exciting new style of podcast this week as we have Kent Lake head coach Mike Suguro on the show, fresh off of his 3A state championship out at Funko Field to cap off the spring season. Over the course of the summer, we'll have more conversations like this with head coach Mike Suguro. We'll have different guests, we'll have players, we'll have more coaches, maybe even athletic directors on the program as we transition from the spring season to the summer and then back into the fall season. And I'm looking forward to bringing those conversations here on YouTube, and we'll do the same thing where we'll cut them up and we'll put them on some clips up on Instagram. With that being said, let's get into the conversation with state champ head coach Mike Suguro. Welcome everybody to another episode of Around the Sound Sports. I have a special guest with me today. He's the reigning 3A state champ. He's the he's got 2 appearances in the last 4 years in the state tournament. He's the Metro defeating 4 first team NPSL first teamers and the NPSL MVP head coach. Everybody give it up for Kent Lake head coach Mike Suguro. Coach Suguro, welcome to the program. Thank you for being here.
Awesome. Glad to be here. Thanks for the intro.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, you're starting to build a little resume out there. But just talk me through these last couple of weeks. And not everybody can win a state championship in their time as a head coach of any sport. But just for you, I mean, how cool has these last couple of weeks been? And I know you're getting invited to the Mariners game next week, but yep. Just break down these last couple of weeks for me.
Honestly, man, it's still kind of a blur thinking about the whole thing and how it happened. Just super grateful of having the opportunity to be with like such an awesome group of kids. Honestly, not in my wildest dreams would I have thought it would have happened that way, let alone winning a state championship itself. But yeah, I can't express enough gratitude for everybody I've been around in the coaching in my coaching tree. I'd say like it goes back to having Coach Flanagan, who's the AD at Kent Ridge. Can't thank him enough for all the lessons, the hard lessons I had as a player under him, and kind of giving me like the framework of what it's like to be a high school coach. Going to my college days, my college coach Cal Miyatake, same thing, tough, gritty. Installed me with a lot of life lessons that definitely apply now to this day. Wouldn't be anywhere without those 2 guys, especially my academic career, for sure. And then summer ball wise, Kevin Miller was a huge influence for me. Dominic Woody, just being around that mastermind of Mercer Island powerhouse back in the day, just kind of being able to pick their brains and kind of understand not just like the landscape, but like how you have to get there, like what types of things you got to focus on in practice, how you prepare your players. Just being around like great people has kind of given me an opportunity to just build my own little mold and philosophy off of kind of those guys, because they've been such a huge influence for me.
The winning a state championship is such a special moment for the school, especially like Kent Lake's a school that hasn't had a ton of success at the state level. In terms of just the reception at the school, the reception from the players and the parents, how cool has that been for you to see, this program that had kind of been building something the last 4 years to finally reach the pedestal and win a state championship?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's so awesome just being a part of that community. I mean, Doug Christie, my assistant coach, head coach for Rock Creek Premier, he started the state championship game. Their first time they were there in 2008. Colton Baker, another one of my assistant coaches, was there in 2017. So it was kind of like we had guys that had that experience, but have yet to kind of push through. So like having those guys on staff, it was huge. Just knowing that we knew what it took to get there, but what could we do to finally push through? So they had a lot of insight on kind of what we needed to do, what they didn't do, and what we finally need to do just to push the ball across the goalpost. So it was huge having those 2. But more so, I think it was just cool seeing like the family and the reception after the game,
Mhm.
seeing all the love from the families, fans. Like I had a bunch of my buddies there, a bunch of coaching buddies. Pops was there, mom was there, fiance was there, a couple buddies from work. So it was just cool to see like the town coming out and supporting um, our school. I mean, it didn't seem like it early because it was pretty quiet, a lot of crickets, but definitely towards the end of that game, you could hear our side getting
Mhm.
kind of loud. So I mean, it was huge having our fans there, being able to support us.
Let's go to the first game of the Final Four, the semifinal against O'Day. It's a it's a one-run game. It's tight on both sides. There's not much separation at all through the 7 innings. For the group to have that sort of a test and that sort of a mental test on that stage, how much do you think that kind of prepared this group for what was to come? If there's any sort of preparation for what was going to come the next day against Eastside Catholic.
Oh, for sure. O'Day, they had a tough arm up there. Nolan Barrett, I mean, the guy's upper eights, super nasty slider. We kind of tried our best to prepare those guys in practice for what it was going to look like shapes wise. And he had a ton of arm side run and sink, kind of low 3/4, kind of Emerson Hancock,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Sale from the right side type of
Mm-hmm.
look. And he's 6'5", so that ball gets on you quick. I mean, he's got a pro body and he's got basically college stuff already as a sophomore. So mostly just getting our guys ready and knowing kind of what to expect. We were really preaching down the stretch that the margins of error are going to be so tight. It's going to be a lot of one-run games. It's going to be a lot of execution, getting on base, finding ways to get guys over, and then finally driving them in. Um, it was just huge for us as a group, like just knowing that, we had to buckle down on all the little things because, while the big things are great, when you get down to, playoff baseball, it's all about executing and finding a way to get the little things done. So I think definitely the kind of like the precursor to that was our game versus Mountain View. We go to their yard. We have a good offensive experience. We have Seymour on the bump, so we know what that's going to be. So it was a pretty dominant effort. And then next day we show up to our yard, and it was just an absolute slugfest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we got a hit until the 7th inning.
Mm-hmm.
Found a way to scratch one across late, winning 1-0 with Ledbetter on the bump. And so we knew like that was kind of our first test and taste of like, oh wow, we can win games in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of prepared us, knowing that at least for our group that this is what games are going to be like down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can find ways to will victories out of games like that, we know that down the stretch at least we've done it before, so it wasn't a surprise and we get tight when we're in tight games like that.
You talk about buckling down. I mean, there's no better example than Christopher Moore. He goes 6 2/3 in his biggest start of his career so far. We've talked so much about it these last 3-4 years about how he's been able to develop year in and year out, because you see a lot of guys, especially early in their career, they kind of hit that plateau of, okay, I can throw upper eights, but I'll just throw upper eights all 4 years of high school. How have you seen him progress as a pitcher, as a leader, and as a hitter? I mean, he swung it really well in the Final Four. He picked up a couple of hits, but just Christopher Moore as a player and all facets. How much have you seen him improve over these 4 years?
Yeah, definitely. It's more so with him. I mean, you said it best. Like he gets better every single year. Starting off where he did, it was impossible to think that there was going to be much better.
Mhm.
He goes off his freshman year, gets first team. He wins MVP of the sophomore year, puts up video game numbers, and it's like, all right, there's no way he can get it much better. Like this is as good as it gets, but finds a way every single year to get even better, which is impossible to even think of. Like I just said, it's video game numbers what he does at the plate and on the bump for us. But like I think the big maturation for him is like he knows how good his stuff is. He knows he can hit, but if he doesn't try and do too much, like from the pitching side, he doesn't just try and get like strike everybody out. Which credit to him. I mean, while his strikeout numbers weren't godly, I mean he knows that he can do it. He just chooses not to because he's trying to keep his pitch count down. He does a lot better job, especially as a senior this year on that pitching, like pitching to contact, keeping those pitch counts down. Because early in his career, we get into trouble where we're punching so many guys out. We're at 90 pitches through 4 innings. It's like, oh man, we gotta, so we kind of realized what he has to do to kind of put the team on his back and will games and really will victories. And he knows when he's on the bump, there's nobody better than Christopher Moore. So, it's hard for him, as humble as he is, to have him have that attitude. Like, there is nobody better than you on the bump. There's nobody better than you at the dish. Like, nothing can beat you. But, he has that quiet confidence about him where he'll the quietest kid. He'll never ask for attention. He'll never do anything flashy. But, like, there's something different when you see him on the bump or just in the box where it just exudes confidence, And I think that was the biggest step between even his like junior year to his senior year. Like, if he comes up in a big moment, he's going to come through. Like, and it's just it's that aura that surrounds him, and it's there with his little brother too. Like, the guy is special. He's a different breed of athlete.
Yeah, it's going to be really impressive to see his trajectory because he's not as pitcher oriented as his brother, right? He's much more of a position player as far as his prospect in terms of college. So you take care of business against O'Day, and now you're faced with Eastside Catholic in the championship. To me, how do you how have you dealt with high stress environments, especially when the ball's out of your hands? Like you said, you played in college, you played at Kent Ridge. How did you kind of handle these scenarios, and how did you kind of see your players handle these high stress, high pressure situations, especially when you ended up getting to the championship and you're down 5-2?
Oh, for sure. Just something I learned from my head guy in Hawaii. Like, he would always just be like, it almost seemed like he didn't care because it would always be the same face. It would just be stoic, whether good, whether bad. He would just kind of sit there and weather the storm. I'm not that good at doing it when things are going good because I get a little happy and I get a little rah and like to celebrate with the boys. But definitely when things are going bad, I think it's important, especially for this generation of athlete, that like we can't put more pressure on them as an athlete and kind of make the game more than what it is. So like getting on them about making a mistake, getting on them about, not being able to execute or whatever. I mean, everybody in the world knows that you made a mistake, right? You don't need more people piling on and making it feel worse. So I think just for like a psyche point of view, I think it's important to just always kind of be stoic and just kind of weather the storm. While on the inside, I am just freaking out. Like, things are going wrong. We're dropping fly balls. We're throwing balls away. Like, inside I'm like just wanted to rip my skull off. But I think it was important for just our guys knowing that, no matter what happens, like there's always still a chance to win. Baseball's a unique game. It's not like football. It's not like basketball where you can just kind of dribble out the clock or run the ball and take a couple of knees. Like, they got to throw the ball over the plate. They got to find a way to get 3 outs. Like, they can't just milk the clock. So with that type of mentality, I mean, I think our guys knew early on that, there's always a chance to win games. I think it goes back to Seymour's maybe freshman or sophomore year. I think we're down like 11 to Thomas Jefferson and came back and won. So like he knew, and some of our older guys had that experience of knowing what it takes and that you're never out of the fight. But yeah, just with our guys, while we still made a few mistakes, you didn't see a huge collapse. You didn't see, the wheels falling off, which we had happen earlier in the season. A second game against Decatur, a couple bad things start happening. Wheels fall off, end up getting kind of boat raced. It happened against Mount Vernon, make a couple mistakes, and then we just can't find a stopper. Tahoma, same thing. So it was more so just like on the leadership of some of our older guys and even our young guy, Lincoln Moore, who's been a captain since he's been a freshman, which is crazy in its own right. Just like finding a way to be the stopper. I make kind of jokes and comparisons to MLB The Show because I play it just like all the other kids. We have like, it's a perk that you can get, right? You got to be the stopper. We got to find a way. You got to be the guy that makes sure like the buck stops here. Like, we're not going to let this avalanche keeps going on. But I don't know how they did it, to be completely honest, but they just found a way and stayed neutral, like kind of what we preach. But yeah, these guys, I can't speak enough about these kids, and their mental fortitude and the ability to kind of weather the storm because the boat was sunk. Like the boat
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah,
You're down 4 in the 7th, man.
like it, I imagine like the movie Titanic, like we're not hitting the iceberg, we're upside down and like the boat is split in half. Like it is dire straits. And
Yeah.
somehow these guys just, they knew, like, I mean, I always told them I had faith, I'd say that, but I mean, they believed it, which is, you can say it all you want, oh, we got to believe, you always got to believe you can win. And it's a cliche, but like these kids actually did. And, you can see why,
Yeah. You got out to a 2-0 lead in against Eastside Catholic. Was obviously you want to score early and you want to score often, but to see that sort of execution and the focus from the jump, how good was that to see? And how much did that kind of give you confidence? I mean, obviously, they end up scoring 6 unanswered, but how much confidence did that give you to know, okay, this group can play on this stage and can perform when the lights are the brightest?
Yeah, I mean, you you would think that going into a state championship game, a lot of these guys have never been there before,
Mhm.
especially, at O'Day, it's their first chance of playing in front of a big crowd, in front of like on a major league field. You'd think like, you get some deer in headlights looks, especially in the championship game, but they came out swinging. We went 1, 2, 3 in the first. We got guys on, we executed, found ways to score, and you know, it would be foolish of me to think that, oh man, like I think we're gonna have a good day. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
run away with this thing. But I mean, it's hard to stay in the moment and not think that. But I mean, it's just kind of human nature. Like, oh man, like we're executing this early. Like this might be going good. But yeah, I mean, it was just so big to see for those kids. Like they weren't afraid of the moment. Like they were embracing it, which was always super cool to see. I mean, shoot, they executed off of the first righty they had, but then I mean, hats off to Eastside Catholic, the lefty champion. I
Champion.
mean, he came in and I mean
Mhm.
that was about as change of pace as you can get. The guy was throwing strikes with 3 different pitches, locating in and out, up and down, changing speeds. I mean, that was exactly. I mean, it was a shell shock to see something
Mhm.
like that. And it took a while for us to make adjustments on it, and we're preaching it, but it's so hard when it looks like a meatball right down the middle, and then it's diving into
Mhm.
our hands as a righty when it's a breaking ball. So, I mean, hats off to that kid. I mean, you threw a heck of a game.
Mhm. Speaking of throwing a heck of a game, Matthew, we got to talk a little bit about Matthew Ledbetter. I mean, at the plate, he was. I mean, I don't know if he got out twice in the final four, and he goes 5 innings in the championship, only gives up 1 earned run, but just for him, to kind of be the third guy, right? Everyone sees the Moore brothers, but then here's this tall, lanky kid who doesn't have, the stereotypical motion on the mound. He's whippy and he puts the ball in play. I mean, just how much have you seen him come onto the scene and kind of thrive at that level?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's why we call him Matty Ice. I mean, the kid is clutch. I don't know how he does it. I mean, it's super unconventional, like you just said, on the mound, mechanics wise, and then especially on at the plate too. Like, it's not something we, tried to correct. It was just something like, if it works, it works. Like, let's just run with it. Like, we don't need to try and fix it, make it look pretty. Like, it's okay if it doesn't look great, if it gets the job done. I mean, he has an uncanny ability to hit the ball hard. Um, and man, during batting practice, like he would smoke balls at a KM, like into the softball field and stuff. I'm like, what the heck? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it just didn't make any sense. But like, we just knew he has it in him. Like
Mm-hmm.
he hits the ball hard. He hits the ball line to line. Um, and yeah, he's just, it's that clutch gene you talk about where you can't really teach it,
Yeah.
and it's hard to like quantify it, but like,
Mm-hmm.
man, that kid came up so big for us in so many situations throughout the year, especially like when we needed him most. Um, and yeah, it's just an ability to do it different ways too offensively, not just, hitting the ball hard. Everybody loves seeing the ball, smoke down the line for the triple, but it's the approach changing to hit the ball in the 6 hole there.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that, the shortstop was covering, they switched the rotation. So they had the second baseman covering and then they flip it so the shortstop's moving over there, and just seeing him, like seeing the field itself and making the adjustments, and instead of letting the ball get deep, let the ball travel, stay on top, like he's trying to pull the ball. And yeah, I mean, even talking to him too, like it was basically just making the adjustment, like we talk about it in soft toss, like depth awareness, like letting the ball get deep versus letting the ball, trying to get it out front and beat it to a spot. And just watching him be able to make those adjustments, whether he's, can vocalize it or not.
Yeah.
Like we see him making those adjustments, and it's huge. I mean, he was our workhorse during the season. I know that we tried to limit Seymour's innings a little bit so he would be a little bit fresher towards the playoffs. Unfortunately, Ledbetter didn't get that. He went almost every game he could. He went as deep as he could every time. I mean, the guy he competes. It's the hardest thing to coach and the hardest thing to really explain to a high school kid. But yeah, he just goes up there and battles.
Tucker coming in out of the pen as well, and at the plate. I mean, the guy goes 1 for 1 with the sac fly. It doesn't get much better than that for a PO. He came in, he struggled a little bit on the bump, but he's able to minimize, right? As long as he throws up the picket fence, you can live with that. How have you seen him as another guy who rose to the occasion for this team and out of the bullpen where, Seymour has had a tendency where he hasn't been able to finish games, and he's the guy who comes in, strikes out the one guy, and then he comes back the second day and pitches just as good.
Right. Oh, it was huge. I mean, we knew kind of going into it and talking about the plan, we knew that we might have to use him in 2 games. So we told him, hey, like if we have to, we'll use you game 1, but it has to be, less than an innings work, right? You got to come in and get 1 out, 2 outs. We can't afford to send you out there and potentially get things to spiral and then throw too many pitches and then not be available for Sunday. So just his flexibility, knowing that he's going to have to probably throw both days, was huge for us. I mean, he's come in huge multiple times for us. I'd say maybe he had 1 hiccup against Gig Harbor, but it was just because he was starting instead of coming out of the pen. There was a lot of weird things that kind of happened that day. But no, it's just been huge for us. I mean, an emotional leader, another captain for us. I mean, you see it on the bump, like the guy pitches with an attitude. And I always kind of joke with them, like he plays so much better when he's a little pissed off, So just finding a way to like edge that line between playing too aggressive and too fiery and controlling that was huge for him. I mean, God, just like an MLB closer, it's a very niche, very high pressure type of situation. But his ability to navigate that and just find ways to get outs and weather the storm. Being a football guy too, we made the joke in the game where I was like, hey, it's just bend but don't break, right? We can, as long as we keep it within an arm's reach, we've got a chance. Like don't stress out about, if you give up 1 or 2. Like as long as we're in range, like I think we'll be fine. And I mean, with all the traffic he had out there, he did a heck of a job navigating it and limiting damage, because it could have gotten ugly really fast.
And now we get to the historic. It's a shame there's not a ton of historical data, because I feel like a 4-run win has to be one of the more improbable comebacks in state championship history. Right. But you had the speech in the 7th at the top of the dugout, but just for this group to just never say die. And there's plenty of teams and plenty of games that had significantly less meaning where teams have just rolled over in a situation like this, but this group didn't. Why?
I mean, it's just, this group is special. I mean, I can't really, I've been trying to think of words for the last week, and I can't really quantify it. It's just, they've got fortitude. They play with grit, play with a lot of heart. I know that was a big thing, like going up there during their last at bats, like watching them like pound their chest, kind of like Tennessee, like telling them like, no, it's about us. Like, it's not about me. It's about us. Like, we got this. No, it's just love. Like, I can't really describe it much more than that. Like the bondness and how close they were. And you talked about it too, about like getting rolled, rolling over. I mean, there was so many times earlier in that game where you could have seen us roll over, and we have historically rolled over in those spots. But like keeping, minimizing the damage, and then knowing that we're within arm's reach, we've got a punching chance. Going into the bottom of the seventh, like we've got 1, 2, 3 coming up. Like we know we're gonna go down swinging, if anything. It was more so just like, can we muster enough hits and muster enough good at bats to like allow it to happen? And then just the way it happened, it's just incredible. Like you can't like as a coach like script it any better. Like it was almost ideal how fast it happened and how quickly it happened.
With as much pressure as there was in that moment, you did it like you did the hard work where there was like as little pressure as weird as that is to say, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like I was saying at Funko, you got to get at least 2 in that scenario when you're down 4 with no outs. You got to try to do something with no outs to just get that doubt in the minds of everybody wearing blue and orange. And it was unreal to see it pan out in live action. I couldn't imagine being so emotionally invested as you are, as these players are. Then you go out to the 8th and Tucker goes 1, 2, 3. How big was that to capitalize on that momentum that was built? Because again, right, Eastside Catholic had generated 6 innings of momentum.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the craziest part is, so Tucker gets that sack fly, right, and the guy is just going ballistic, like Josh Naylor ballistic, coming back to the dugout, like smacking people around, like giving people high fives. He almost knocked over one of our coaches, and like, and I'm seeing that, and I'm like, oh yeah, like great. And then a couple pitches later, I like turn and I look, and he's sitting there just stone faced, just locked in. And then that's when I was like, oh man, like, he's going to go out there and he's going to be the best version of himself. I mean, going 1, 2, 3. I mean, once he got the first guy, I was like, oh, he's he's around the zone, he's locked in, he's throwing hard. As tired as he probably was, like I was like, man, like we stole all the momentum, and we knew that once we had the momentum, like it's just about riding the wave, right? And man, did he ride that wave? I mean, when he came off the mound after that, I was like, there's no way we're losing this game now. Like we've got all the momentum. He came off with fire, with energy. I was like, oh man, like it would take something crazy to stop these guys right now, because they're playing with house money at this point now, right? So
now that you go to the bottom of the 8th, 2 outs, and you go walk. Seymour, has the chance to drive in his brother for a walk-off win, and they walk him to get to Ledbetter. He comes through in the clutch. Talk me through that play and through your eyes, and then your emotional reaction once you saw that ball get out to left field. And did you even have to wheel Lincoln, or he was scoring no matter what?
No, he was. I could put up like the stop sign. I could have like a manual stop sign out there. He is running right through that. He is running through a brick wall. But it's funny, like rewinding all the way to the beginning, like Lincoln gets on, and we're sitting there, and we've been telling him this like probably the last month and a half, like going down the stretch, like, hey, you get on first and your brother's up. We got to stay there. Like we cannot try and steal the base, because you steal, they're just gonna walk him. I was like, I think you have a better chance of scoring from first than potentially scoring from second, with force plays. I was like, let's just keep the 4 hole open, because they got to hold you on, and then we'll go. And I just he had the same look when he was rounding third. Like, I'm not going to be stopped. So I'm like, all right. And I saw him just looking and like kind of shaking his head. And I was like, all right, well, I'll take it off. Like, I'm not going to give red or green. I'm just going to let you guys do whatever. If you get thrown out here, then there goes all of our momentum. But I mean, he is a great base stealer, so I knew I had faith in him being able to get the job done if he went, because I did see him go, and a part of me was panicking because I don't want him to get thrown out, because it's going to look like the dumbest thing in the world. But he swipes the base, and then they continue to pitch to him, to his brother. So I was like, oh, I didn't have that one on my bingo card. So it goes back to that aura and watching him and having the most confidence in the plate. Like, he was so locked in. He's fouling balls off. He's off his front foot.
Yeah, that was a long at bat.
Just flicking balls foul, and then they just put him on, right? With full, it was like a full count.
It was 3-2.
I think he fouled like 3 balls off. Like, nah, let's not do this. So, and then I was sitting there. I was like, oh man, they intentionally walked to get the Ledbetter. And I was just thinking in my head, man, the last couple times they've done that, like, this kid is clutch. Like, they say the law of averages, like, eventually, who's going to come back down to earth. But like, there's just that feeling of like Matty Ice coming up to the dish. Like, he's going to hit the ball hard. At least he's going to give you a chance. Like, he's going to hit the ball hard. He's going to hit the ball on the ground where he has a chance to beat something out. Yeah, it's kind of that feeling, like that pin drop where like, something good's about to happen, but you don't know what's going to happen. And then once he made contact, I knew that they were holding him on because I think they were worried about Lincoln stealing third. So they're holding him on. They flip the coverage, and then Lincoln kind of looks over his shoulder, and he's like, kind of like, it's almost like a grin. He had the same look when he was rounding third. He hits the ball in the 6th hole. He's rounding third, and like in the video and the close-ups of him, like, I think it's so cool. You can see him smiling, like the realization of what just happened, that he's going to score the winning run. Kind of reminds me of that Cal walk-off, against Acevedo to bring us that first playoff berth in 20-something years. Like, just that, like, oh my God, like, it just happened. Like, and then the smile and the jubilation, like, you can see it on his face. Like, he knows what's about to happen. And like, what am I going to do? Stop holding there with 2 outs? Like, no way. Like, he could be playing like in the infield, and he's going to run through it and try and score. So yeah, just seeing that whole thing just happen. It just, I can't even put it into words. Like, that thing was probably the craziest game I will ever be a part of. And hopefully, for my heart's sake and for like my stress levels and probably my blood pressure, because that's about as nuts as you can get.
All right, man. Well, that's all I got for you. I appreciate you taking the time and enjoy the summer, man. Keep winning those tournaments.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, too. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
Just want to give a big shout out to head coach Mike Suguro for coming on the program. Awesome conversation, amazing head coach, and a well-deserved 3A state championship for the Kent Lake Falcons. With that being said, that'll be it for this episode of Around the Sound Sports. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to Coach Suguro for coming on the program. And we'll bring a new episode next week with a new guest, and it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you around the sound.